What is up, everybody? WTF? Welcome to Funkatopia. I hope all of you are doing fantastically well. I am your host, Mr. Christopher, and this is not me, but this person over there. Jeff Page is in the house.
What's happening, everybody? Hope you guys are having a blessed evening because we're gonna have some fun tonight.
Oh, yeah. So this is the pre-show. For those who are just joining us, welcome one and all. And I hope everybody is doing great. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about some purple news. And then on top of that, I've got a little bit of some announcements to make that's going to take a chunk of time to talk about some movement that we're going to be doing with Funkatopia. So you need to know that's coming. And it's going to be fun to talk about. And then at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is about an hour and 8 minutes from right now, we will be having the world premiere of it's a premiere of the interview I did with Ricky Freeze Smith. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be great.
I mean, technically, it's a world premiere for those around the world.
Yes.
So, you know.
Yes. If you were a Patreon supporter, God bless you. Right. If you are a Patreon supporter, you actually got access to this interview Sunday night. I did a quick edit of it on Sunday night and let Patreon supporters have already been able to see it. But all of you fine folks that have not been able to see it, you're going to be able to see it tonight at 9 p.m. And there's going to be a premiere. So it's not just so if you actually go to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Funkatopia. If you actually go there, you're going to see a countdown for the interview. And then you guys will be able to watch. We'll all watch it together like a movie, and there'll be chatting going on. You guys can chat back and forth and talk during the interview and whatnot. I was going to ask, the whole reason why we pre-recorded this interview was because Ricky was tied up with scheduling issues for tonight, Tuesday night. And that's the reason why we pre-schedule it. So he will not be in the chat area with us tonight, but it's okay because we're all going to be hanging out and watching it together. And it's a lot of fun. It's a really, really great interview. And looking forward to showing it to you because we had a lot of fun. We talked a lot. For those who don't know, Ricky Smith is like the bomb diggity. Really? I mean, this guy has worked with everybody from the Silvers, a lot with Leon Silvers, but he's written some of the favorite songs that you love by the Whispers. And he worked with Morris Day on The Color of Success and also Daydreaming. He also did Morris' Girl Side project, Daisies. He did work with Shalimar. He's worked with Janet Jackson. He's worked with, it's just, work with Vanity. He actually told me in this interview, I think it was on air, that when he actually worked with Vanity and they wrote songs together, and he has recordings that are in his vault of songs that he worked with Vanity and that will never see the light of day because obviously she's not going to be able to approve them being released. So, but there's so many, incredible stories. And he worked with Cat Williams. He is one of these guys that's like in the background writing music constantly, right? And just loves being in the background, just wants to write music, wants to be a writer.
He's another one that's in that category. We talked about the people you don't know, right? he's done so much for so many. You've heard his work. You just don't realize it. That's where he sits.
Yeah. He's just one of these dudes. It's just, and when you hear his story, you're going to be like, what? It's pretty incredible. It's pretty awesome. But yeah, so I see Kimberly got in here a little bit early. She was talking about the Come 30 symposium, which I might add, the 16th, I want to say it's Friday, right? 13th, 14th. Yeah, the 16th, this Friday, is going to be the 30th anniversary of the album Come, which is just mind-boggling to me that it's been 30 years. But there was a symposium that happened last weekend, and apparently D'Angelo did a spectacular job. And it's, let me tell you, what we do here is kind of like elementary school level stuff, and D'Angelo's like college level stuff,
right?
Older that
dude. Real education.
Yeah, she was at Celebration, and she was just like, "Oh, I really, really love your stuff." And I was just like, "Please," it's like, I'm like romper room compared to the stuff you're doing, D'Angelo. It's ridiculous.
Here is a bus.
Yes.
Here is a horn.
I see Betty. I see Sandy. I see Christopher. I see Jeff. So
And then the grown folks come on and she knocks it out the park.
yes. So, anyways, Lisa, hey, how's it going? And Christina, hello. Kim, Joshua, okay, what's going on? Krista, what's going on?
What's happening?
Christina, Minneapolis. I already called her out, but I didn't call out location. Yes, Arlene, happy Tuesday. So this is technically the pre-show. We don't normally start the show until 8, but we kind of already went into it. We kind of talked a little bit about this, that, and the other. What's going on, Joey?
Joey, what's happening?
And it's been it was a crazy weekend. For some reason, I ended up putting together a bunch of things, and I didn't want to do that. I was putting together a grill, and I was putting together some like IKEA level patio furniture.
Was it like one of those green eggs? Like one of the newer versions of that or something?
No, it was actually a Blackstone. We had already had a Blackstone, but we didn't clean it properly. And the whole top part of it got rusted. And when you try to go online to replace that, it's like $250 just for that piece. And it's like, what? It doesn't make any sense.
That's what happens when you don't take it back.
Yeah, right. And apparently Walmart is clearancing them out for whatever reason. And they had them, I guess, because it's about to go into fall and winter where people don't grill. And they had like the same one that we had for like $118. And it was like, what? Wow. I guess a whole entire new grill for $118 at Walmart, a Blackstone. And it's kind of cool because you can make smash burgers, and if you want to have breakfast for dinner or whatever, you can. It's great. I love it. But
it's not an outdoor grill. It's like, is it?
No, it's outdoor, but
smoker too, like built, like, or is it just?
No, I have the not the actual big green egg, but the one that's it's a Vision grill. It's like the knockoff of the big green egg, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, it may not be, but yeah, maybe that came first, and Big Green Egg was the one that stole their thunder. I don't know.
Nobody knows who came first.
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, it just made me think of the line that Bootsy Collins said. The first time I saw Bootsy in concert was in the 90s. And he was opening up for Parliament Funkadelic. No surprise there. And he got to the mic and he said a couple things that night. I was like, what? The first thing he said was, "I'm going to pee in your eyes so you can see where I'm coming from." I said, what? What did
put on your goggles? Okay, this is gonna be a long night.
I was like, and then it was like, what came first? Then he said, "What came first, the chicken or the egg?" And he goes, "Depends on what got laid first." Okay. All right.
Wow.
Leave it to Bootsy.
Yep. That's all you can say.
Yeah, it's Bootsy, so what are you gonna do?
So people are excited about the fall, huh? Well, I'm enjoying the summer, but yeah, I guess fall's nice.
Well, Jaden is doing the color guard thing with her high school, and it's been like insanely hot. So when they start to go outside and they start doing practice, there's like kids fainting all over the place because it's just too much. It's not just the heat, it's the humidity down here. It's just staggering. It's staggering, but I'm not doing
to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like fall weather. I like that, but now that I've lost a bunch of weight, I don't have to like obsess about, yes, I get to wear my fat clothes now. Or you get to like wear the big clothes where it's kind of, hide behind stuff. Anyways, but all right, so it's 8:00. Let's get into some of the chatter, shall we? Let me just say, this is really cool for those who happen to be in and around Atlanta. What Music Fest is a music festival that's been going on here for many, many years. I've got an opportunity to actually meet and do photography work for a lot of them, including working with Jill Scott, I did work with the Migos. I did work with Anderson .Paak. I mean, it was like really, really cool because I was able to go in as press and just cover like a lot of people and work with a lot of these really, really great artists, which I was like really, really awesome. But One Music Fest definitely just started changing over the past few years and has started to slant way more towards hip hop and rap than really kind of covering the funk and stuff that they used to. And they released their latest lineup here in Atlanta, which includes a bunch of acts.
Yeah.
And a lot of people saw Earth, Wind, and Fire on this mix, and everybody was like, "Hey, man, they got Earth, Wind, and Fire playing this year," like expecting to be really excited. And I was like, "Yeah, I love Earth, Wind, and Fire, and I love Jill Scott. She's going to be there again." But then you look at the other artists, and there's like nothing else on the list that is anything like those artists.
Right.
You got Cardi B and Gunna and Sexy Red and Glorilla, and I mean, Fantasia and Nelly is kind of, I guess Nelly's, a little bit part, but he does, he's kind of been hip hop leaning for some of his new stuff. Anyways, T.I.'s in the mix. Method Man, Redman, I'm sure they're going to be together on sharing a stage at some point in time. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Fat Joe's in there. This is, I mean, it's really cool. Now, every time that I was at One Music Fest, it always happened at Lakewood Amphitheater, which is in South Atlanta. And the past few years, it's been or a couple of years, it's been in downtown Atlanta at Centennial Olympic Park. And I have yet to see so this is happening in Piedmont Park. I'm sorry. The only concert I can remember seeing at Piedmont Park was Dave Matthews Band and the Allman Brothers, which was a massive, massive show. But so this is going to be interesting to see how they work this out, because Piedmont Park is not the easiest
to navigate, to park, to do anything.
Yeah, it's like not like a fantastic location, and the neighborhoods around Piedmont Park hate it.
Yeah, they hate people. It's
kind of like Chastain. Chastain Park is very, really similar to that too.
Right. If you were doing a documentary looking for all the Karens, you know where they are.
Yeah, that's where they are.
You know where they are.
Yeah, I want to film a Karen. Yeah, just right. It'd be a perfect place because all the Karens definitely come out. Yeah, but anyway, so this is the latest lineup, and which is really, really cool. But I was literally going over every single. I was like, oh, maybe they kind of got some acts that are tucked away in this list that I would be really interested in seeing. Ari Lennox is pretty cool. I'd like to see it. And Keisha Cole's really good. Fantasia, obviously. Jill Scott, Earth, Wind, and Fire. But then after that, most of it is all kind of hip hop and really kind of that. It's which is fine. I mean,
have you seen the ticket prices?
I have, and it's not too insane.
It's interesting, and it's a big range though, because they actually have the VIP and the platinum and the titanium. You know what I mean? So they're like decent prices, and then off the charts. They got the whole gambit.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I remember for like $250 or something like that. It was like after taxes, everything is like $300. But when you think about the amount of acts that you're seeing
for 2 days,
and it's over 2 days, it's still less than I paid for the Rolling Stones ticket. That was one show that was an hour and a half long.
Yeah, exactly. There's no reason for people to not be able to pay VIP if they go to, certain other events and spend, 3 times that amount.
Yeah. So this is a really great time because there's so many really, really cool. I got to pull this up because I have actually got a ticket to this. That's happening at Chastain. It is The Roots, and they are going to be at Chastain at the end of this month.
Yes.
And I got a ticket. 10th row, not bad. It wasn't even over $100. And it's The Roots, Arrested Development, and Diggable Planets.
Man.
On now. It's The Roots, Arrested Development, and Diggable Planets that are going to be at Chastain. And just so you know, that is a tour that is happening that's going to go all across the country. So if you like that old school 90s hip hop, I mean, Diggable Planet's Blowout Comb is still in regular rotation for me. That is
who like that.
that's that CD is just, and of course, then Arrested Development is, I mean, I love Speech. Actually, Speech has been on the show a couple of times.
That's awesome.
And he, so that's going to be a great show. I probably should call Speech and see if I can go as press so that I can like take pictures and still enjoy the show.
Yeah, do some stuff.
Yeah, man, I would love to. I'm going to talk a little bit about that too, about some of the direction.
Some crazy video coverage too. Wink, wink, hint, hint.
Yeah, I mean, right. I mean, because we killed it. We killed it at the shows that we went to. I mean, it's just,
we do know what we're doing.
believe it or not.
Believe it or not,
we actually do have some talent outside of this. But yeah, so that will be, so basically take a look and see some of the concert lineups that are these little mini festivals and stuff that are happening all around the country, because there's some really, really good shows that are out there, and you don't want to miss them, especially as it gets closer to the fall, when the weather starts getting a little bit cooler, and then they can kind of do these shows, and it's comfortable to kind of go out and just have fun and chill, and they do all these outdoor festivals. Man, it's the best. It's the best. Yeah, I cannot wait to see Diggable. I've never seen Diggable Planets perform live. I've always been a fan. Always been a fan, and I heard Butterflies there too. So I mean, always been a fan. Never seen him. Looking forward to it. It's gonna be great. The Roots, Diggable Planets, and and apparently Ann Ing says that AD is not playing at their location. It's the Far Side.
Wow.
That's playing now. And you're in Texas, right? I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, maybe.
So basically what they're doing is they're really kind of hand picking. I've always wanted to go to the Roots picnic too, because the Roots picnic is always a blast, because they always have like, Jill Scott coming in, and Dallas, right? Dallas. Anne's from Dallas. So in Dallas, they got Far Side. So I'm sure with Arrested Development, because they're based out of here, Arrested Development's out of Atlanta.
Right.
Speech has a place here. So does Jay. So we're going to get Arrested Development.
That's right. Well, at least that's, why not? Right.
I mean, it's going to be fun. It's going to be
If not, we'll just go knock on his door like, hey, what's up, guys? What's up?
Right.
We're here.
And I want to tell you this too, tonight at 9 p.m., actually right now, before we get too far into this, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight, before I say that, I want to make sure that you guys set your DVRs right now if you're going to want to hang out and watch the show, because America's Got Talent is on right now.
That's right.
America's Got Talent is on right now, and it is the semifinals. And if you guys remember, the one and only Liv Warfield is on America's Got Talent tonight. Remember, she competed,
murdered it.
Golden buzzer from Simon, and now she's coming on for her second performance. We got the blessing of being able to see her at the celebration, which was phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
And she, lots of people got, but anyways, she is going to be on the show tonight. So please, if whatever you're doing, go over and go to, and not only watch it, obviously, but vote. You can vote tonight. And I think I have
Should I post it on there?
Let me see if do we have I wanted to make sure go ahead and copy and paste that on the scroll. It's AGT. This is kind of a weird URL. AGT.vote.nbc.com is where you go. I don't think you have to do the / methods, but we'll put that on there anyways. But it's AGT.vote.nbc.com. And so you guys get for every email, they let you vote 10 times. And you can vote tonight starting at 8 o'clock until like 7 o'clock in the morning, I think it is. So please make sure that you take care of our purple sister, Liv Warfield, because she is, you got to go in there and vote. Thank you so much to Ronlyn Dandy for sending me an email and also messaging me and letting me know, hey, she's going to be on. It's happening tonight. You need to make sure that you got to make sure that you check it out. Absolutely, positively, go check it out. And so she's going to be performing tonight. I'm recording it. Obviously, we're doing this, but I'm recording it. And of course, as soon as the show's over, I will go and I will vote. So I want to make sure that said that now, because the AGT starts at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which was 11 minutes ago. So make sure that you get your, because I don't know where she's going to be in this mix. I don't know if it'll be first. Hopefully not. But I want to just go do it. It's important. It was great. Also tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I had an opportunity to sit down with the one and only Ricky Freeze Smith, who many of you know from Morris Day's Color of Success, but he had a very, very colorful career all the way before that, working with the Silvers and specifically Leon Silver. And he worked with Shalimar, and he's worked with Janet Jackson, and he's worked with Shaka Khan. I mean, he's worked with so many friggin' people. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's like a laundry list of people that he's worked with, and you're like, what?
Yeah, like we were saying in the pre-show, for those of you who know they can start making the pre-show, he's the artist that you've heard him. You've heard his music, even if you don't know you have. That's how many people he's worked with, and it's all been good. So
think of your favorite Whispers song, and he pretty much was playing on it.
There's his work.
He's one of these guys that just like writes. And I even asked him at the interview, I said, why haven't you done a solo album? He's just like, I just like being in the back and just writing and just doing my thing and don't really need to worry about it. I just, just kind of do. And of course, he also wrote, "Don't wait for me. I'm just a young man. What makes you think that I have the time?" That song just cracks me up. But yeah. Color of Success, he wrote all these little things. Oh my God. It's like one of the most hilarious, most funny slow songs.
But people still went, oh,
to be falling in love in my pride. Yes,
it was like, baby, I'm a player, without saying that. Man.
So anyways, yes, and the beat goes on.
Yep.
So all that being said, it's great. I interviewed him, and it will be premiering on YouTube at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. So we all go over to youtube.com/Funtopia. Again, that's youtube.com/Funtopia. And there'll be a countdown there when we're about to start, and you can all watch it together. You don't have to watch it separately. It will play just like a movie, and you guys can all participate in the chat room and hang out, and it's going to be fun. That's tonight at 9 p.m. Ricky Freeze Smith, the interview. We're not going to be posting it here on this broadcast. It's happening separately because it was pre-recorded, and I want to make sure that I don't separate out the views from what happens on YouTube and what happens on Facebook and what happens here. Just keeping everything nice and tidy so that you get, the full experience. All right. So kind of been bouncing around, but I do want to make sure that also let you know about some Paisley Park events that are going on, which is actually pretty surprising. They've got some, the one I knew about, but there was another one that I did not see at all mentioned anywhere on social unless I missed it. I didn't see it on Twitter or anything, but let me share the screen. This is a tab from the events at Paisley Park. Apparently this Friday, which is the 30th anniversary of the album Come, they are having a 30th anniversary listening session.
Awesome.
From 7:30 to 9 at Paisley Park. So you can actually go to Paisley Park and it's free.
Man, get there.
What? You are not charging.
You're not
gonna charge me. It's awesome. Free, but it's $50 to park within a 2-mile radius. No, just kidding. Free. It's first come, first served, and it's only open to the first 150 guests. There may be prizes or gifts. I don't know. I don't think so. But basically, it says join us at Paisley Park on Friday, August 16th for a special listening event as they celebrate the 30th anniversary of Prince's studio album Come. And it says, in tradition of the impromptu parties that Prince would throw at Paisley Park, this is a free event and is a first come, first served. First 150 guests. Doors open at 7. And of course, it will be the amazing sound system. And of course, this is that iconic album where Prince changed his name and he was just like, screw this, I'm done with it, which is one of the reasons why the album had his birth date and death date on the front of the album because he was just like, Prince died this day. It's just one of these controversial albums. But the problem is that he kind of, you know, it wasn't a throwaway album because this is a friggin' amazing. Come on.
Yeah.
Come, Let It Go, Space, Pheromone.
Man.
I mean, just unreal. This is such a fantastic album. So anyways, this Friday, 7:30 to 9, free at Paisley Park. They're doing a 30th anniversary listening session of the album Come. So if you're in Minneapolis or in Minnesota, somewhere in driving distance to this sounds like a pretty fun Friday night thing to do for show.
Right? Who wasn't moved by Papa? Come on. Come on.
Ooh. Papa.
Smack.
Papa.
And I loved Solo. Come on. Let It Go. Yeah, like you said, man. That's it.
Anyways, and the other event that is happening is the Purple Experience. It's happening on Friday, September 27th. That's going to be featuring, and this is a month away. This is over a month away, but you just want to let you know about it now. But Friday, September 27th from 6, I don't know why it says 6 to 7 p.m. It's 6 to 7 p.m. here, but it says 6 p.m. to late on the brochure. But it's Morris Day and the time. It's not Morris Day and special guests. It says
Right.
Morris Day and the time. I know that I'm pretty confident that Jesse will not be there, but it says Morris Day and the time. And then, of course, it says also featuring members of the new power generation. So I don't know if they're going to be doing it separately or if it's going to be something very, very similar to what they did at the celebration where it's Morris Day with NPG behind them. I don't know. But it says there'll be special guest appearances and surprises. And it's going to be hosted by Nick Nurse, who many of you don't know, but he is the head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers. And there's also going to be music by DJ Ghost. The tickets are a little bit, they're not cheap. Early bird tickets, general admissions $150 and VIPs $300. I'm not exactly sure what the lineup is. I mean, what the difference is between, I'm sure there's like meet and greets that may happen. Even if you click on more information, there's not more information here. So I don't know what the difference is between.
Maybe you get a sandwich or two.
Maybe you get, who knows? Who knows? Yes.
Some breadsticks.
Or, maybe get a little bit of quiet time with Morris and get a little
sit down with the band and just talk about.
Yeah, you gotta love that.
That's awesome. I think that's great. These are the things that you have to go to if you can be there. You know what I mean?
Yes. And just so we're clear, I want to stop sharing this because it is a charity event, which is one of the reasons why the prices are where they are. So let me share this screen so you can kind of understand exactly what this event is about. And is the Nick Nurse Foundation is who it's for. And this is their website, nicknursefoundation.org. And it basically says they are a foundation that's committed to improving the lives of children and young adults through music, sports, and literacy. So certainly something that aligns with Prince's philanthropy. And they support social programs of social justice with social justice initiatives that empower families and youth from underrepresented communities. And it says, by leveling the playing field, we hope to provide all youth with the necessary resources to become positive contributors to society. But it's really, really cool. It's definitely a great charity. So that's the reason why the ticket prices are what they are. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, that's just all. It's definitely going to be one of those. It's just two events that are happening at Paisley Park that are really, really cool. One's this Friday, the 30th anniversary of Come. That's free event. And then, of course, this one's going to be happening later in September. And as we get closer to that, we'll talk about it some more. But that is actually a really, really cool. So there it is. And also the last thing that I want to mention before I go off on this speech of whatnot, I kind of got to the side. They're part of the interview that I did with Ricky Free Smith that will be premiering here at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is talking about an event that he was doing that's coming up. And it's pretty friggin' cool. And I think that you may actually, if you are a musician in any particular form or fashion, and you kind of just, maybe just getting your feet wet, or maybe you've been in the industry for a while, but you kind of been hitting a bunch of dead ends, the time is going to be doing, and when I say the time, I'm talking about Jelly Bean Johnson, Monty Moore, Tori Ruffin, and Ricky Freeze. Jelly Bean, Monty, Tori, and Freeze are going to be doing a Sweetwater event in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I did ask them, I said, why Fort Wayne, Indiana? And they said that's where the Sweetwater headquarters is at. But
Yeah, I mean,
if this is if it's a positive event, if it is a big event, they're going to take this on the road and they're going to do these classes. It is a time band masterclass. And what they do is they're going to be teaching you learning by listening, gelling with the band, recording effectively, and how to craft hit-worthy parts. So it's essentially, very, very active members of the time that are doing this masterclass to teach you the basics and also teach you how to kind of structure songs and structure music. And it's pretty friggin' cool.
Yeah.
It is going to be happening in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And I don't think I've ever promoted an event in Indiana that I can remember. Maybe I have, I don't know, but this is kind of cool because I know that we have listeners and watchers and viewers from Funkotopians from all over the world. So it's kind of cool to kind of hit these places that I don't normally get an opportunity to talk about. And especially this right here. It's the time. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say it's the time band masterclass. And to make it easier, because I know this is universe.com/events/the-time-band. I made it easy for you. It's funkatopia.com, funkatopia.com, funkatopia.com/masterclass. And it will take you right to this link and you can get tickets and go and learn from some of the best to do it. I mean,
plus it's Sweetwater. So if you guys, like I said, if you're a musician, you know what Sweetwater is. And if you're not, that's where all the toys are. That's where you want to buy everything that you buy musically. I've got a lot of stuff I purchased from Sweetwater. So that's the online provider, man. Beast. Good stuff.
It's going to be pretty friggin' awesome event.
Yeah.
As I mentioned too, before we broke into this, Liv Warfield is performing on America's Got Talent. She's actually up next on America's Got Talent. But if you're recording it, it's cool. You can catch her in a little bit. But be sure, it's most important and more than anything, is that you vote. Please make sure that you, after you get done watching this, you go and you watch Liv Warfield's performance and then vote. It's important to vote. So that's the important stuff. So there you go. All right. So now I wanted to kind of break off and spend a little bit of time talking about something that I've kind of been seeing in the Prince community and whatnot, and also kind of talking to you about new directions that Funkotopia is going to be taking. And this is pretty serious, not serious, but it's kind of been like a build up thing. So I want to make sure that we are kind of all on the same page. I'm going to make myself a little bit bigger here because not because I need to be bigger, but because I'm going to be the one talking and it doesn't make sense for me to be a little small box.
I'm just going to put myself on mute.
All right. You can mute yourself because let me just explain some things. We talked about, I want to make sure that I get this out of the way so that we can break away to go see this 9:00 premiere, which is happening in 35 minutes of the Ricky Freeze Smith interview on youtube.com/Funkotopia. So I wanted to, and I actually wrote it down so that I wouldn't go down rabbit holes. So I'm going to try my best to stick to the script, but you know how this goes. I wanted to share with you some changes that will be happening starting this year for Funkotopia and why. So we're going to start with the why. You've heard me say 100 times that Prince fans are very much in a bubble. It's very rare that you kind of run into somebody that is a hardcore. I'm only saying this because there's people that don't watch the show all the time, but it's very rare that you run into somebody that's like a hardcore Prince fan like you are. And unless you specifically go to like a Prince themed event, like Celebration or whatever, or you hang out in very, very tight circles. And for the most part, I love the Prince community. I love the love that you give me and Jeff and everything. We're all there and it's just a lot of fun and we get a lot of positive emails and whatnot. And it's really, really cool. And especially our fans here, Funkotopians. I just love all you guys. You guys are fantastic. But what I've kind of been seeing lately is that there are a lot of other Prince related groups, people who kind of label themselves as thought leaders and whatnot, that are very envious of maybe what we've kind of done. Envious is probably not the right word. I don't know what the correct word is, but they don't like they don't like a lot of things that we're doing. I guess it just changes depending on the person, to be totally honest. I mean, people are coming to me privately and telling me things that other people are saying about me and about Funkotopia and about what we do and everything. And I realize those are probably, I guess, what we refer to as shit stirrers or whatever you want to call them. But it's also, very, very tough to hear when you work on something as hard as I work on Funkotopia, and to kind of hear any bit of negativity. It's just, it's a lot. It's really, really tough to hear a lot of that garbage. And some of the things that these leaders and groups handle things is kind of like by lashing out to their folks, discrediting. Like if I do a post, somebody will do a follow-up post and try to discredit something I said, or, just whatever, just discrediting everything that other people accomplish, instead of focusing on, hey, what can I do to make my show better? What can I do to make our group better? What can I do to kind of expand our group, whatever. Instead, it's just, hey, you know what? Let's just nitpick and on this person or that group or that meetup, simply because obviously it's the nature of things. It's much easier to pull someone down than to pull someone up. It's very, very, that's simply the way that it is. And God forbid that, and this is really prevalent in the Prince community. I'm going off script, but this is really prevalent in the Prince community. You guys see it all the time, where somebody says something and there'll be always somebody that comes out, Prince wouldn't have wanted that, and this wouldn't be, I can't, this guy's the jerk, whatever. It's just really, it's a lot for Prince groups that are supposed to be love for one another, supposed to be live for love, all that stuff. But God forbid I say something that is inaccurate or just bad information, I get eaten alive. And it's not because I'm trying to start issues or just disseminate bad information, but I just got it. I may have got it wrong. And it happens occasionally because I am a one-man show when it comes to kind of pulling all this stuff together and content together and all that stuff. And that happens when you don't have someone specifically on staff that maybe is doing fact checking on things, or is kind of, or just fact checking things that I may find online. Cause sometimes I'll find things in groups that somebody says and presents it as truth. And I may bring it up. I don't know. I'm one guy, stuff happens, but I definitely own up to it if I make a mistake and I fix it immediately. Okay. That's a given. And there are certain groups, for lack of a better description, that just kind of just want to just stay where they are, just kind of just be where they're at and just kind of just judge everybody. And you guys know the groups that are out there. I mean, there's really, really bad places like prince.org and stuff where somebody says something that's a little bit off kilter and they just get attacked and burned alive. And some of these groups just kind of post one negative post after another. It's just one, it's exhausting. And what's messed up is that just like I said, they're from these groups that claim to be, love for one another and we're all family. And that's just, it's, you guys know a lot of that's just garbage. It's bullcrap. But, there will be like 2 back-to-back reposts, like they don't even have enough time to even, or energy to even create a new post. And they'll do a repost with a heart or prayer hands. And then the next post is just full of vitriol and just body slamming somebody. And or taking pot shots at people that they don't even know, haven't spoken to in years, or in some cases ever. And it's just, I know you guys see it. It's just exhausting. It really is exhausting. And again, this is really heavily prevalent in the Prince community. And then of course, then their followers come in and they add their 2 cents and they're like, yeah, I hate those types of people. Or it's bad. It all just kind of really sucks. And sadly, a lot of that ridiculousness and stuff is coming from people that are well known or respected in purple circles. And I've always been out front. I've always kind of said, hey, if I got an issue, or if I want to say something about somebody, I'm just not going to say it. I'm not going to air it. I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to do that because I don't hate anybody. I may be frustrated by somebody. I may, get annoyed at somebody, but I'm not going to do that. It's not going to happen here in Funtopia. It's just not. This is probably, I typically always try to keep things positive. I mean, I'm not spewing any negativity towards those people that are being negative. The point of what I'm saying is somebody say it's getting really old. We want to continue bringing Prince's legacy forward and move it forward and kind of, represent what he stood for. And, I know there's probably people saying, hey, well, isn't that what you're doing right now? No, this is a call for sanity. It's to ask you, the fans and listeners, that if you see someone doing that, just don't participate. The only reason why these people in those groups keep doing what they're doing is because their fans or their listeners or their followers or whatever just keep hearting it, loving it, adding gasoline to it, whatever. It's just, and there are people that gravitate towards that, the controversy and the drama. And, the reality of it is that for me, a lot of people's frustration with me, a lot of people's frustration with me is because of the growth that we've seen and the movement that we've seen. And the reality of this is, I'm just going to be real clear. I know this is kind of weird to say this, but this is the reality of it, is that the only way that you're really going to get to me is to outwork me. And you ain't going to be doing that. That's just the reality of it. You're not going to do it. I always think about this. There's this motivational clip that I found from Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who stood in front of the Los Angeles Lakers, a room full of elite athletes. And he said this.
But the key with me is just always finding what the anchor is. And the fucking anchor is getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning every day before anybody else and grounding my thought process is in the no one will outwork me. No one. I love and I respect you guys. You motherfuckers won't outwork me. All starts with this. 2 hands, putting it to work.
That's the point. I'm going to keep working. I'm going to keep pushing forward. I'm going to keep bringing you guys great interviews. I'm going to keep bringing you all those things. I'm going to keep doing those things that drive the other folks crazy. There are, and it takes a lot of balls to say something like that, especially for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I would have to stand in front of the Lakers and these elite athletes that do all those things to be the athletes that they are, and to say, I'm better than all you guys. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying it's going to be very, very hard. You're going to be very hard pressed to work as hard as I do. There are plenty of Prince groups online, not forums like prince.org, but groups, and some I respect a lot. But to be clear, I put in serious work here at Funtopia, chasing down guests to come on the show, trying to find guests that you're going to be entertained by, that maybe that you've completely forgotten about, that maybe that really deserve to be recognized, like Ricky Free Smith tonight, that you would love to hear the stories from. Getting those guests locked in, doing many, many, many hours of research on every show to make sure that even if you've seen interviews that have been done with them in the past, you're going to hear something different that you've never heard before, because I'm not going to ask the same questions repeatedly. Then just, that's the reason why when we had Jesse Johnson on the show, I didn't ask him about the food fight, because you've already heard that story 12 times. You don't need to hear it again. I want to hear the other stories. And granted, he did tell some stories that have been previously told before, but that's part of it. But digging deep and finding those photos and visuals, putting it together in a presentation for you and for the guest, scripting the show, making promotional material for the shows like the banners and whatnot, and then 95% of the time doing it all live without a net on Tuesday nights right in front of you. Like, no editing. It's just like, if it crashes and burns, it crashes and burns. And then after the show is over, getting it up and out to all the social media channels, posting it in a multitude of places, and then resting for a day or two, and then doing it all over again for next week's show. That's kind of, and ultimately what I do here at Funtopia is not easy. I do it for the passion of the content. I do it for the fans. I don't bitch and whine about the olden days of what I accomplished back when. I don't rest on what I did on the past. I just keep moving. I keep putting in the work. I don't sit on my hands. I don't watch somebody else do it and then try to nitpick or discredit people for what they've accomplished. I keep moving. So the next time that you see a group somewhere cutting down someone else, take a step back before you throw your hat into that ring of fire. Just don't get involved in it. Just because misery loves company doesn't mean that you have to be that company. And that's kind of what's been very, very frustrating about this whole process. So it's just to say, I love the opportunities and the attention that Prince brought to Funkotopia during his final decade on Earth with us, but it's very simply not possible to make everyone happy. And it really is, as I said, exhausting to read some of the unfounded negativity and hear some of the things that people are saying to me. Even the people that have been reporting to me things that are being said about me, I just like, look, I just don't want to hear it. I don't even want to hear it. I just don't want to hear it. So it's tough watching a community that is a Prince community that's all about love, watching people tear each other down, because it's easier to do that than to fix your own shit. That's kind of where it's at. The biggest takeaway, positive takeaway for me and all of this is that I know that when you're successful, you get a lot more haters. So maybe that's the takeaway for me. And the point of this diatribe, this part of the diatribe, is that as a result of continually seeing some of this nonsense, my plan is to take Funkotopia back to its roots. I've said it many times before. I am not a Prince website. It's not Princetopia, it's Funkotopia. And I know it definitely seems like that. And that's mostly because all of my posts are Prince related. So I get it. That's my fault. I'll still share that stuff because I know that our fans love it. But basically, Funkotopia kind of got wedged into the purple circle. And there are some folks who don't like it. There are people that have been here much longer than we have and just don't like it. And I understand it. If I was doing something and I was busting my butt for a long period of time and then somebody came out and just did it way, way better and then just kept on zooming away into the distance, I probably would not like it either. I got it. It's, to be clear, this whole thing was Prince's doing anyways, just so we're clear. So, I show this every now and then. This is like samples of Prince's doing posts on Twitter and Facebook about Funkotopia. So he would send people my way. He would have me do interviews with Andy Allo. He would have me do interviews with Liv Warfield and Shelby J before anybody really kind of had an idea of who she really was. Those are the types of things that he would do. And I did not fight it. Why would I? I was just, I was a funk music channel. That's what I am. I will always be a massive Prince fan, and I will always welcome people from the inner purple circle on the show, like guests we've had before, like Gilbert Davison and Jesse Johnson and Jerry Hubbard and Mark Cardenas and Sheila E. and Morris Hayes and Jelly Bean. That will never change. There are still so many untold stories there, and my door is always open. But for the remainder of 2024 and going into full effect in 2025, Funkotopia is getting back to its original origins, where I'm going to be going back to interviewing the full range of funk artists that I was doing in the beginning, going back to when I was sitting down with the legends like Bootsy Collins and CeeLo Green and Macy Gray and Jamiroquai and New Master Sounds and Lettuce and Robert Cool Bell from Kool and the Gang, brand new heavies. Funkotopia is going back to the funk. And that also includes new music from new funk bands out there and bringing back the soundstage. Jeff will tell you, we did the soundstage one time. It was a lot of fun. I'm going to be bringing it back. And that starts next week. It's going to start when we are going to be welcoming the unbelievable Dawn Silva,
yes,
from Parliament Funkadelic and the Brides of Funkenstein, and who's also worked with Sly and the Family Stone, Rick James, Cameo, Charlie Wilson, tons more. This woman is a legend. This is her book. She sent me, The Funk Queen, Dawn. So look at this. This is like an encyclopedia. I mean,
it's huge. It's a Britannica.
it literally is. If somebody breaks into my house, I could kill them with this book. It's that. I mean, this is her story.
If somebody breaks into your house, that's one book they won't be able to take out of the house. It's too big. It's
You either got to carry the TV or carry the book.
pick one.
What's it gonna be? That's gonna. Yeah, so this is kind of what I'm talking about. So I'm going to be focusing on what I originally came here to do. Okay. So I just want to make sure that's part one of this diatribe. Okay. Part two is probably going to cause a little bit more of a kerfuffle. But I don't kerfuffle. I love using that word. But I'm going to kind of just rip the Band-Aid off. There will also be changes that are going to be happening to the radio station. And I'm going to explain why here also for this. Currently, there are 2 radio stations. Funked Up, which plays 24/7 funk, all your favorites, like all the bands that we talked about, Earth, Wind & Fire, Ohio Players, George Clinton and Parliament Funkadelic, Fishbone, all those types of bands. And Uptown Radio, which is currently 24/7 Prince. But before the end of September, before the end of September, there will be 3 radio stations. You've already got 2. There will be 3. But don't get excited just yet. Because there's more. The 2 stations that exist now will be changing. I am already working with our app developer, Michael, and we're in the process of making those changes. The Funked Up station, the one that plays 24/7 funk, is going to have all of its songs and artists greatly expanded. We're really going to be digging deeper into the Earth, Wind & Fire catalog and the Kool and the Gang and Ohio Player. We're going to be digging deep into some of these catalogs, and we're really going to be bringing lots of funk. So it's going to be expanding. And of course, the new stuff is going to be a lot more new stuff in there. As we kind of find stuff and we kind of put it out there, and we may actually have a new music section. It's going to be a little bit more compartmentalized for like new music section and stuff like that. It's going to be great. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's just taking a lot of time to finish because we're going to need about 60 days to get that done because we have to acquire the new music and also legally, and then also republishing the new format to ASCAP, which could possibly, because we are ASCAP licensed, it's going to probably change pricing and stuff, but it's going to be really, really awesome. And you guys are going to love it. It's going to be great. And of course, the new music, as I said, High Fade, Enema Squad, Corey Henry, those guys, all the stuff. It's going to be great. And of course, Prince sprinkled in for good measure, not as much as theirs now. Okay. Here's where it gets a little bit touchy for you guys. And I know this is going to cause an issue, but if you're on the right side of this is actually awesome. If you're not on the right side of this, it's not awesome. As for Uptown Radio, the 24/7 Prince station, those super deep cuts that you are currently hearing, like the ones that Prince shared via the web, the songs that he put out there and kind of, allowed people to get and listen to and download and stuff, and the MPG Music Club stuff, the hit and run songs, the rehearsal sessions, the remixes, the Third Eye Girl TV stuff, the demos, all that stuff on the current station are going to be removed. I'll give a second to kind of absorb that. You're only going to hear album tracks, the official album tracks, the B-sides, etc., on Uptown Radio moving forward. That will be in place before the end of August this month. So a large chunk of that type of content that's going to be gone is going to be gone, and I'll explain why. I can already see people getting ticked off, and those are the people. Well, let me just put it this way. The people that are going to be most mad about it are the people that don't really support Funtopia or the station at all. Not saying you don't love it.
Advantage.
I'm not saying you don't love it. I'm not saying you don't enjoy it. I'm just saying that there are a lot of people that like to listen for free, and it's great. It's free. It's awesome. And you're still going to have 2 stations. There's still going to be 2 radio stations for free. It's going to be awesome. And those 2 stations are provided to you thanks to the Patreon supporters. That's the reality of it. The radio stations that we have are ASCAP licensed. So when music gets played by an artist, that artist gets paid. There are a handful of other radio stations that I see floating out there and whatnot that are doing things illegally and stealing from the artist, because playing their music and sharing their art and not compensating the artist is theft. And that's not always been legit from day one. Both of the stations that we currently have are licensed. So if you actively listen to the station and haven't ever help us offset those licensing costs by donating or becoming a Patreon supporter, you really should thank our Patreon supporters, because without them, neither of those radio stations would even exist. It's kind of like PBS supporters. It's like I admittedly spent a lot of time setting my kid in front of the TV to watch Sesame Street and everything else, and never contributed to PBS. So that's kind of the same exact thing. But I am always trying to find ways to reward the Patreon supporters in any way possible. Without them, Funkotopia would not exist, and neither would those radio stations. And that being the case, there will be a new radio station called Uptown Radio Plus that will only be available to Patreon supporters. It won't be a new app, but it will be, I think in the beginning, it'll probably be a password required for it to access those plus features, and it'll only be available to Patreon supporters. But that station, the plus station, will have all of the deep cuts, the special content, the capability to actually request songs as well. Plus, you'll be able to hear the Tuesday night shows live on the app as well. And I've got to hesitate, be very, I'm apprehensive about this, but I'm also considering Prince-Giving and Princemas will probably only be available on the Plus version of the app. Because, let me explain this. When I do full-blown shows like Princemas and Prince-Giving, it takes forever to set it up. And I have to rely on the actual supporters to help me monetarily pay for that music licensing. Because when you play chronological playlist of Prince's music, including deep cuts, for the better part of 10 days, it takes 4.5 days to get through it. And then we do it twice. So that's 9 days of music. And tons of people are coming in and listening every day. But over that period of 9 days, only 4 people donate. Not talking about the Patreon supporters that are there every month, but only 4 people come in and donate. That's not even one donation every 2 days. And while I'm very thankful for those people that do donate, it doesn't cover the cost of the ASCAP licensing to do those broadcasts. So everybody loves it. Everybody loves Princemas. Everybody loves Prince-Giving. Everybody loves those shows. But the reality of it is that the listenership is up. And when the listenership is up, then the money goes up, because the math is how many people listened, how many minutes they listened, and whatever the per minute going rate is for that. And then it's distributed to the artists that were played during that time window, because they log into our system. They download this huge Excel spreadsheet that says, here's all the songs that were played, and it's divvied up accordingly. That's kind of how it is. So again, there will be 3 radio stations, and that should be fully in place before the end of November. So before the end of this month, there's going to be a lot of different things happening, but it's just the ASCAP licensing and for us to legitimately do this is not cheap. It's just not. I wish that it was less expensive and I could just say, yes, just listen. Yeah. It's great. But it's just not how it works, because the reality of it is,
this is a business, and you ain't too far gone to see that yet.
Do I need to say it again?
This is a business, and you ain't too far gone to see that yet.
Look, it's simply saying that I have to show true love and respect to those people who support what I'm doing here with Funkotopian. Though the Patreon supporters are elite Funkotopians, and I promise you that I will be focused on how I can continue bringing value to them as supporters, way beyond just a thank you and a monthly file. This move is a big thank you. And it also inspires other people to kind of come in and see the value in this. And that's kind of what I wanted to do. That's it. That's my diatribe. I will just simply close by saying this. I will not stop bringing you the funk, but it will be a little less purple on the outside, but it will still be very purple. And again, Funkotopia is going back to its roots. We're going to be bringing you a whole wealth of funk stuff. I'm going to be dedicating a lot more time to this. I'm making big professional moves with Funkotopia, just so we're clear. In all transparency, I have reached out to potential partners and management to help me restructure things and get me back on the growth track to make Funkotopia the premier place for all things funk. I would love to have you along for the ride. And I know I probably have hurt some feelings and a lot of people are upset. Most of the people that are upset, obviously, that people that have enjoyed the web, enjoyed the app and everything for free, you're still going to be able to enjoy the app for free. But some of those deeper things, that is reserved for the people that are really supporting us and helping us take the next level. And I truly hope that you understand the moves that I've had to make. I truly hope that you understand why I had to make the moves I made. That's what I ultimately want to say. And to the Patreon supporters, and even there are a handful of people that still monthly donate via PayPal. I mean, just like little small amounts, but still, I mean, they've been there for years and just kind of you got to do it. But it's just like, it's just, I love all you guys. I love the funk. We're going to get back to the roots of making Funtopia again, because really, in all honesty, that welcome mat in the Prince community and some of the Prince groups and stuff is not open for us. And it's exhausting. And because again, I'm not a Prince website. I have totally leaned that way by making it very, very princely. But it's still going to be very heavy Prince, but it's not going to be like it was. And I pray to God that I hope you guys understand why I have to do what I have to do. So that's where it is.
And there it is.
There it is. There it is.
And just keep in mind, the stations, you still get great Prince content. You get the music you want to hear, funk, and again, soundstage. We're bringing it back. We're going to be doing the indie artists. We're going to be promoting artists that are up and coming and making things happen. And we're going to be deep diving into those funk artists that have been here forever. And we're just going to start pulling all those other guys out there. So this is the time, and it's the right time to make these changes. So prepare yourself. And anyone who is offended or hurt or sad, no one really should be. Most of you guys are smart enough to understand. But for those who really just don't get it and don't like it, it's probably time for you to leave anyways. You probably haven't been a benefit to us at all. That's just the way it is, because we've been giving to you guys and loving you guys, and to turn around and smile in your face but act up behind us, maybe this isn't a good relationship, because the move we're making is the right move and a benefit. So there it is.
Well, again, and I love everything. Oh, thank you to Sean Carter and Chuck D. Man, I mean, yeah, I mean, and this is the difference. This is also the difference too, is that we want to be a premier place for your source for music. So if something funky comes along the way, if somebody releases funk or whatever down the road, I want to be the place that they come. They say we got to make sure that we get in front of this audience. We got to make sure that we're kind of getting getting it out there. And right. I also saw somebody said, "Oh, how much extra? I'm already donating, but how much extra is going to cost to give me Plus?" If you are a Patreon supporter, even on the lowest level,
you're there.
You're in.
You're in.
Because what it will be is the app will have a plus option on it, and when you click on it, it will go to Patreon. Make sure that you are an active member, and if you are, all that stuff goes pow 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 pow. You can request music. The stream changes, so you're not going to be pulling from the regular standard Uptown Radio stream. You'll be pulling from the Uptown Radio Plus stream, which will have extra stuff. You're going to be able to hear these things that we do on Tuesday nights live, and just the Prince Giving and Princemas. I mean, that in itself is like, it's what it is.
Right. And don't fret. We're still a part of the Prince community. You know what I mean? We're
absolutely.
That's a no-brainer. That's automatic. That's who we are also. So big events and things happen, we're still going to talk about them. We'll still bring them up. We'll keep everybody informed of what's happening, and attend things that we can attend. I mean, of course, we're not leaving. We're making changes that just improve everyone and kind of make it a win-win across the board. Because as Mr. Christopher said in the very beginning, this is a lot of work, and he puts a lot of effort into it. And the return, it's not really balancing out. And when I say the return, I'm not talking about a financial return. I'm talking about an emotional, mental state return. We're just not getting all of that. Yes, when we show up and we're in front, man, we love meeting and seeing people, new faces, but this is a lot of work. And so these changes make sense.
Yeah. I mean, I love the fact that, you guys are awesome. I love Funkotopians. But again, it's one of these things where, we want to really kind of represent funk music in a much better way, in a much deeper way, in a much more impactful way. And just focusing just on Prince, still going to do a lot of Prince stuff, but just because that's who I am. But just know that it's going to be awesome. Listen, we're got like less than 4 minutes here before the world premiere of the interview with Ricky Free Smith is going to be there. If you head to youtube.com/Funkotopia, youtube.com/Funkotopia. Yeah, it's going to do the countdown and we can all watch it together, but it's going to be the interview with Ricky Free Smith. It's going to be previewing here in just a couple of minutes, definitely to that. But also be sure that you are here next week as we welcome the Funk Queen, Dawn Silva, in the house. Sly and the Family Stone, Parliament Funkadelic, Brides of Funk. Come on. That's next week. Don't be anywhere else. I'm telling you, it's going to be a blast. It's going to be a great kickoff to what we're doing. And obviously figure, we just keep on. Yes. Joni says, tag Carmen. Yeah, we've been trying to get Carmen Electra, so just keep tagging her. I mean, she's thinking, anyways.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, man. So we're going to be doing a lot of things. So anyways, go ahead, head over to youtube.com/Funkotopia, youtube.com/Funkotopia. And let me just say, if you want to go ahead and get on the bandwagon and just be ready for this change when it comes, the radio station stuff is going to start happening this month. Like the radio station is going to start happening this month. So you guys need to know that that's what's going on. But that's going to be, you need to be, the one-time donations are great, but the Patreon supporters, the patreon.com/Funkotopia, that's the ones where you're going to want to get into the plus version. The one-time donations are great, are awesome. Thank you so much. It's really kind of just saying thank you, appreciate what you're doing. But the Patreon supporters at patreon.com/Funkotopia, that's where you're going to get, that's going to be the difference. Again, that's Patreon, patreon.com/Funkotopia. Just kind of head there and get ready, because it's coming, and it's going to be coming fast. And Prince-giving is not too far away, folks. We're already in the middle of August, and that starts in November, and then Princemas is in December, and all that stuff will be in place before that. So just
the kids are back to school, and we're here, we're ready. And once again, we really appreciate everybody. We love you all, and we're looking forward to great things with you. So let's keep moving.
Yep.
We will
just
see you over.
And don't forget,
this is a business, and you ain't too far gone to see that yet.
Go youtube.com/Funkotopia, youtube.com/Funkotopia. Go ahead and head there and let's watch this Ricky Free Smith interview together. And we'll see you in just a minute. Go ahead and head there now, youtube.com/Funkotopia. See you in a minute, guys. Thank you guys for hanging out tonight. Let's go watch this interview.